Hey guys, it's Reagan, and today I'm going to be talking about my Avengers Endgame review. And guys, I have a lot of opinions, so keep watching if you want to hear all of them. It's not going to be all hunky-dory, it's going to be kind of critical, so whatever. But before I get started, I just want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. I know a lot of you guys have subscribed to me recently, and I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe because it really makes me motivated to post more content, and I just keep on this ride, especially with Episode 9 coming out. After this, we got Spider-Man Far From Home, which I'm really excited about. We got a lot of content in 2019, and I want to cover it, so please subscribe to stay tuned. So, without further ado, let's get into my non-spoiler section of this review. So guys, I would give this movie a 6 out of 10. I just feel like the plot was very messy, and there's a lot of loose ends that I don't really appreciate. I think that they put some characters down to make others shine, and I'm invested in some characters where others might be invested in others, and so my characters that I was invested in, they did really dirty and I didn't really appreciate it, and I just feel like you gave people screen time, a little too much screen time, and it's just, I don't know, it just kind of just left me not feeling satisfied. And it was a 3-hour-long movie, and I feel like the first 2 hours are very slow, and it was just like, okay. It definitely wasn't as dynamic or as amazing as Infinity War. That is the superior Avenger movie. It's definitely the best. But Avengers doesn't really have good luck with even movies. Ultron was definitely not as good as the original Avengers, and this movie was not as good as Infinity War. So that's my stance on it. But yeah, so now let's get into some spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie, please don't be like me and know all about the spoilers before you see it, because I got really nervous about it with good reason, because people on Tumblr that I follow are literally from Germany or whatever, and they were nervous about it and they had the same opinions as me, so I was like, oh my god. So I kind of watched a lot of it on Reddit, but I've seen this movie, so I've seen half the movie 3 times, but I've seen the movie in theaters. I saw the movie at 6 on Thursday and on 8 on Friday, and I really loved the audience reactions. It was great, but it just, I don't know. It was crazy, but whatever. So if you haven't seen it, please stop watching. So guys, can we go on with this? I just want to say that, so in the beginning, it was kind of cool, seeing Tony and Nebula. That was fine, that was cute. Them playing finger football. Is that what it's called? Yeah, whatever. That was cute. Paper football. That was cute. I like that. But then Captain Marvel coming in, picking them up, saving them. And then they have their little section where Captain Marvel's like, let's go take on Thanos, and everyone's like, we're a part of that superhero game. I'm like, my thing was that Captain Marvel in this movie, I like Captain Marvel, right? But I feel in her origin stories, Captain Marvel, she's a little bit more of a shell of a character, and then you kind of see some more stuff with her. I just really hope they really develop her character and her sequel, because for me, as of right now, she's kind of cocky, and it's I think she's obviously super powerful, but I think that it's, I don't know, it's not really beneficial to her character, and I wish they were developed more. And I know that they didn't know where they were going to stand in Endgame, so they didn't really have much character development, but I just wish, and she wasn't in it that much, but I just wish that they had her character a little bit more developed, and I'm really looking forward to a more complete character arc from her, because I know it will be good. So, I was kind of a little bit annoyed with her characterization. She just seemed kind of cocky, so I was kind of But then also you have them going in to go for Thanos, and you knew it wasn't going to be that easy, and then Thor finally going for the head and just killing him. I was like, off with his head, boo! And he looked like a perfect toasted marshmallow, and it really made me crave marshmallows, but I'm on a diet, so I couldn't eat marshmallows, and I'm really sad. But I was like, okay, so then you have the beginning, but then here comes the issue, right? Then it's 5 years later, and you're like, I was like, okay, I knew there was going to be a 5-year gap. I knew from the get-go, before, a movie, this movie came out, before I watched anything else, I knew that there was going to be some gap. And also, if you watch the premiere, you knew that Tony Stark was going to have a kid based on this little girl that was literally in an Iron Man colored dress, and then was all around Robert Downey Jr. the whole premiere, so, basically that was a spoiler. So, you see everyone kind of coping with everyone being gone, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. It's kind of an issue later on in the movie, but I'll talk about it later. But then I liked how Natasha's kind of running the home fort. She's checking in with all the people, having this conference, pretty good, and her nails and eyebrows look perfect, which is great to know that the world goes to crap and then still look great. I don't know. But you have a little bit more of her talking to Cap, and you have some more character development with her. I've always kind of felt like they never really super developed her character, Natasha, has just kind of been an underwhelming character in the MCU, and I was kind of excited because you saw some more development. But I'm really excited to see what they do with her solo movie because she has a lot of potential. She has a very rich like history, and I'm really excited to see because her solo movie is going to be like a prequel, obviously, because like, so it's going to be interesting to see that. But I just feel like I want to see more. I'm a very character-driven person. Like, I love character development. That's what I'm here for. So I was excited to see that, but also like kind of sad. So and then you have like Scott coming back, and like honestly, that kind of hurt me a lot because like Scott like was in prison and he was so sad because he like missed part of Cassie's life and was trying his best to get back into Cassie's life, like in Ant-Man and stuff. And so then he missed 5 years of her life. Like he missed her growing up for 5 years. That is really, it's just like really depressing to me because like they didn't really talk about it too much, but like your kids only grew up once, and so if you miss that like vital period, it just was really sad, you know? Like they didn't really talk about it too much, but me as an Ant-Man fan who loves like his character, I was like, that was just sad. And like I know he was like really invested in getting Hope back, and that's what he like was telling Tony, like, look, you got really lucky, but like I lost someone I really care about, and a lot of people did. So like, you know what I mean? Like I was kind of like, that was kind of heartbreaking to me. And I don't know. Like Ant-Man in this movie, Ant-Man and Rocket were really kind of the comedic relief in this movie. I like them as characters. I really like Rocket. He was good. Took a backseat kind of in this movie. He wasn't really into it that much. But like, they were kind of there. I was kind of sad that Ant-Man wasn't in Infinity War, but he was in this one. But, you know, it was kind of, they were good in this. My favorite character in this movie, though, was Professor Hulk. I love Hulk in this movie. I don't know why. He's just so funny, and I love Banner. I love Mark Ruffalo. And it kind of like, I don't know. It was like finally he got best of both worlds, and then he just making jokes throughout the movie. He was just really good, and I really just loved him. He was like the big happy green giant. I like how you have Tony realizing that like Peter was lost, and then he's like, okay, maybe I should help these people because like he's kind of the exception. A lot of people lost who they love. And of course, like, Tony really only had, like, Pepper, like, he was really invested in, so, like, and also Happy lives, so, like, whatever. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, so, him going back and then figuring out time travel and whatever, and then going back to help the Avengers was cool. And good for his character, because I was like, oh, okay. The overarching character arc for him is that he's always kind of selfish and puts himself above the greater good, which is what Howard says later on in the movie, but, you know. So then we go to one of my biggest issues with this movie, and it is Thor's characterization. So I talked about this before. I'm a Thor fan. Thor is my second favorite MCU character after Spider-Man. I love Thor, and they played him so dirty. So in Infinity War and in Ragnarok, and Ragnarok is literally like the second best movie in the MCU. Spider-Man Homecoming is my favorite, but Ragnarok's definitely close second. And then so we had that, and they go into it, and what happens? Oh, Thor is just fat, drunk, and depressed. And it's like, okay. So they basically use him as the butt of every joke throughout the movie, and it's just very disappointing because finally Thor comes into his own. What are you the god of again? And then he's like, the god of thunder, and he kicks some butt. You know what I mean? Like, he has so many iconic moments in Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War. He really was the MVP of Infinity War. He took on a damn star, for God's sakes, and he, like, that moment in Infinity War, there was nothing like this in this movie for me, where Thor comes in and he's like, bring me Thanos. Oh, love that scene in Infinity War, and he went from that to melted ice cream. So, not really a big fan of it. I think what they did with Thor was kind of just, they made him lower so that way that Iron Man and Captain America could be more on par with him, and that's just kind of like, kind of disappointing for me. So they wanted Captain America and Iron Man to shine, so they had to make Thor terrible, basically. So that was disappointing. I don't know. Like, I liked when they went back in time and they went back to the Avengers, original Avengers, and you got that iconic shot. That was cool. And I also like how Loki escaped because I'm a Loki fan. Also, hashtag justice for Loki because Loki's, like, still dead. I'm still disappointed about that. I miss Loki. Loki had so much. I love the character development of Loki in Ragnarok. Everything. Ragnarok. It's like Ragnarok was kind of trash. I was so mad. But whatever. So anyway. So Loki's back. He's gonna have his Disney Plus series, which I'm gonna watch religiously because Loki's one of the best characters of the MCU. And so that was fine. And then you have the iconic, that's America's ass. That was really funny coming from Scott Lang. I love that. But that was funny. And then the elevator scene, Hail Hydra, that was cool. I like seeing Cap fight each other. I can do this all day. Yeah, I know. That was funny. Those were good scenes, I guess. But then they go back in time to the 70s, and you have this nice moment with Tony and Howard. And it kind of runs parallel to Thor, going back to Thor Dark World, and Thor talking to his mother. Both of them didn't really get a chance to say goodbye to their parents and kind of felt like they had unfinished business. So them kind of showing that, like, their parents still, like, care for them and, like, are there for them, and then they're kind of doing things right was kind of nice. I liked that. I loved how Thor realized he was worthy again by getting Mjolnir, I can't say this name, but getting his hammer back. That was cool. And I also like Hulk talking to the Sorcerer Supreme, and then she says that Strange is meant to be the best of us and, like, gives the Time Stone to him. I was like, yes, I love Doctor Strange, so that was cool. And then you go to, like, Vormir, and Black Widow and Hawkeye are there, and they're like, I can't die, Clint, you can't die, you got a family or whatever, and then Natasha ends up dying. Like, that was kind of sad, because like I said before, you finally got her character arc, like, a little bit better, and then she just dies, and it's like, okay, alright, so we're just gonna kill off her. That's really sad. I mean, she didn't really have anybody. Her family was the Avengers, and it was kind of just disappointing. I'm not really a Hawkeye fan, so whatever. Don't really care if he dies or not. I mean, I know he has a family, but also, like, Hawkeye is just kind of annoying, so whatever. But I did like the scene where they see Quill dancing around, and it looks like he's an idiot. That was so funny to me. But I really liked what this movie did well. This movie did Nebula right. So if you're a Nebula stan, this movie did you right. Because Nebula, it really showed her character development from 2014 Nebula. I loved it. I really like it. Nebula as a character, very interesting. I like her. She's kind of an anti-hero. You know I'm a sucker for anti-heroes. So, like, that was great. Gamora coming back from 2014 to kind of help them out. That was kind of nice. I think still that when they have the gauntlet and they have all the stones back, and then Hulk is like, I was made for this. I'm the strongest Avenger. Like, no, you're not. Thor should have done it. Like, Thor could literally take on the power of a star. He wouldn't have been burned or anything. Thor definitely should have done it. And instead of having Banner, like, his arm all burned, Thanos didn't get his arm burned, and Thor wouldn't either. Thor or Captain Marvel could have probably done it and been fine, you know? So, like, it was kind of like, alright, you know? I was kind of like, fine, do that, whatever, boring, you know? Like, love the hook in this, but, like, at the same time, I just think it should have been Thor. And then when you finally have, like, Thanos come back for 2014 and just, like, take down the whole compound, and you're like, dang, man, they'd really be out here. And then you have the iconic moment, of course, where Captain America takes on Mjolnir and, like, starts beating up Thanos. That was cool. That was cool, right? That was a good scene, you know? Like, a lot of people in my theater clap. Everyone was like, yes, yes. But, like, the thing is that, like, I'm still kind of at the point where Thor could have easily handed it to Thanos without his gauntlet. Like, literally, Thor almost killed Thanos when he had all the stones, but I guess Thor was weak and drunk, so that's why he couldn't kick some ass. But, like, still kind of annoyed with that. So then, he had this battle. Finally, everyone comes back. Thank God. We get Black Panther back, we get Spider-Man back, we get the Guardians back, thank God. I really like that shot, though, with Captain America standing tall and it's like all the destruction. That was cool. And then the on your left, and then everyone coming back. Cool, you know? And I love Peter coming back to Tony, and, like, he's like, oh, okay. And then he hugs him, and he's like, this is nice. So they finally got that hug. That was really nice for me. And then, obviously, like, they're playing hot potato with the Infinity Gauntlet, and then Peter goes flying with Mjolnir. That was funny. I kind of wish that he took the hammer and, like, wielded it. That would be funny. I definitely think Peter Parker is worthy. You know what I mean? So, okay. Like, those things were cool. And then you have the end. And, of course, it has to be Iron Man that has to do the Infinity Stones. And him saying, I am Iron Man, which is iconic. Love it. You know, love it. But my thing is, so he just reverses, he just makes Thanos and all his armies or whatever disappear. So my thing about it is that you don't, like, if I had the Infinity Stones, I would have done what they did in Infinity Gauntlet, and I would have reversed everything before the snap. So what that means is that Thanos wouldn't have it, and they could just take him out or whatever, and then also all the people would have been fine. This is where I have an issue. 5 years have passed, but 5 years, everyone, so let's say this. I'm going to give you a couple scenarios. So let's say if you're a married couple, young married couple, the guy stays alive, but the pregnant wife disappears or whatever. Then you come back, and then the guy is like moved on, or maybe he committed suicide, or maybe he's remarried, whatever. And the pregnant wife comes back, and it's like, and also, or you have a bunch of your kids, and all your kids are like older than you, or both your parents disappeared, and the kids are now in orphans, and now with other parents. You know what I mean? There's a lot of scenarios that everyone's basically going to need therapy. Everyone's going to need therapy. I'm just saying, suicide rates, everything's going to be higher, so a bunch of people are going to be dead that come back to it, or they're going to come back and find all their spouses and stuff remarried. So literally, the world's going to be hell. But no, we had to keep the last 5 years because Tony Stark had his life figured out. He had a family, had a nice little house on the lake. Okay, that's fine. So they're going to maybe talk about it in Far From Home, but literally, so annoying because literally half the world is totally messed up. And it's like, okay. And also, still kind of pissed out that the snap took out everyone basically but the OG Avengers and some of the kind of secondary characters, you know what I mean? Like, of the MCU, like, they kept those. Like, okay, like, that's not proportionate. I still think that they should have kept some of the funnier, well, not necessarily funnier, but they still should have kept some of the interesting new characters alive in the snap, but they really didn't. They didn't really keep much. It was mostly just the OG show, which I think kind of made this maybe boring in a way. Like, it's why it was, like, not super entertaining compared to the other MCU films recently. So you have that. So I'm like, ugh, that's not the best end. And then you also have Steve go back into the past. And I am so pissed because literally my mom was telling me, she's like, Reagan, you need to do a theory video about that. She told me in dang December. She's like, Reagan, you need to do a theory video about that because Steve is definitely going to go back in the past and live out with Peggy. And I was like, okay. And then I didn't have I don't own all the Captain Americas like on digital, so I couldn't watch them that fast. I couldn't find the DVDs, and then I had to go back to college. So then I was like, I can't watch the movies and get evidence, so I was like, I won't do the video, but also my Marvel movie videos don't do as good. So now I really regret that. Sorry about it. I really should have done that video, but we kind of knew that was coming. And like, him going back in the past, like, okay. But then it breaks the rule of it, okay? Him coming back in the past, and then, so the past that he goes back to is now their future, right? So like, yeah, he doesn't have the butterfly effect or whatever, and probably saves Bucky or whatever, Yeah, what everyone's saying. But the thing is, the issue that I have is that why people think that he went back to our past and changed some stuff up is because he came back and like didn't time travel and came back to where they were in present day. So here's my thing, right? My issue with it is I wish that they showed Cap going back in time, like going back into their timeline, because it didn't really make sense. It made people confused. Because yes, he could have went back into their timeline after Peggy died and time traveled then, but they would have noticed him on the lake earlier. So that's kind of my thing. I just it makes it look like they broke their own rules, which there's kind of a loophole, but because they didn't really establish it, it's kind of like if you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. So that's why I was kind of frustrated. Overall, I think this movie, it was too messy for me, like, personally, and I don't really like how they have this character arc with Iron Man, how he finally could put the greater good over himself, and that's what they said with Howard, and then so he sacrificed his life with his family to save everyone. But then he didn't really save everyone because the world is messed up after the 5 years, after people have been grieving these people that suddenly come back into their lives. It's gonna be crazy, it's gonna be wild, and it doesn't really, like, people have moved on, so like, it doesn't really make sense to me. And so basically he was ultimately selfish because he wanted to save, like, his daughter, like his daughter being born. I think that what they should have done is establish that Pepper Potts was pregnant during Infinity War, and then he just wouldn't have got his time with his daughter, but his daughter would still live. But it's just kind of annoying because literally it makes no sense. And then in Far From Home, I think that they're going to deal with it, but then like everyone in Far From Home, if you see the trailer, like, also, I'm just saying, I did a video a couple months ago where we knew Tony was going to die. It was basically in the Far From Home trailer, like, they basically established it. So, that's the thing, though. You know, it's just, like, one of those things where I'm kind of frustrated, like, they need to really deal with it, because, like, even though, like, the MCU is fictional or whatever, it still kind of has some root in reality, and that's what, like, Homecoming is great about, because it showed kind of the side effects of the Avengers. So, I hope they establish it, and I'm hoping to see what they do, and I just feel like it's going to be a mess. So, that's why I'm kind of annoyed with it, but whatever. So, I'm probably not going to watch it very much ever again, because, well, I'm going to watch it again, just not anytime soon. It just fell flat for me, and it left me kind of dissatisfied. And so now, basically in 2019, I'm excited for Far From Home, but it kind of feels like I have all my eggs in the Rise of Skywalker basket, so JJ, do not disappoint me. But whatever. So thanks guys for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and like this video if you liked it. And if you want to yell at me in the comments, that's fine, whatever. I mean, this is just my opinions on it, and then just why I had some issues with this movie. So thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!